Hello, everybody out there, and a big welcome to all of you listeners, and a big welcome to Toma Harper. You are on the other side of the world. That is fantastic. Welcome to you, and you have something exciting to share with us.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm here today to talk about track systems or paddock paradise systems. Um, because I run an adjustment, or some other people what they call boarding facility or livery yard for horses on those track systems and paddock paradises. Yeah.
Uh-huh. How does that work?
So pretty easily said. It's horses live in laneways rather than in a big square paddock. So let's say you have your square paddock, the outer perimeter fence. You just put a second fence down along the perimeter of the fence, and that builds your laneway. And the horses live in those laneways to make them move more. So you have water on one end and a food source on the other end, hay usually,
Yeah.
and then maybe a shelter on another corner again. So that makes them move a little bit more to find the resources like they would do in the wild, pretty much. That's just the idea Jamie Jackson came up with by following wild horses in America, and then he came up with that system to to have it in a domesticated environment, to just replicate that in the domestic environment. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I can think that maybe it's boring for the horses just to have a square and nothing to do. But how big a space would you have to do these things?
Yeah, you can do it on any size of acreage. It doesn't really matter if it's very large or very small. In fact, it's more taken on in Europe a lot because they have less land than we here in Australia. So they call them in Germany, for example, where I'm from, they call them Aktivstall often, which is like an active stable, pretty much translated.
Yes.
And so they have smaller properties, and obviously the horses move less on smaller spaces, even less than in a big square grassy paddock. Um, and by putting in those laneways, they just make them move more than what they would in those little acreages. They also work for big acreages just as well, though. But essentially you have like a minimum of 3 meters, maybe more, a laneway. Of course, the more horses you have, the laneways have to be bigger. You incorporate very large areas to where they eat, for example, where they can sleep and roll. You put in very, very large areas for that, so they don't get, they feel comfortable to sleep, they feel comfortable to roll, to play with their mates. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a play yard for horses.
It is, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's very enriching. It's a very enriching life, like more than just standing on one spot, eating, walking a step or two to keep eating. And then they just walk, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, then they accidentally get to the water somehow, have a drink, and then they just turn their bum again and eat again.
Yeah.
So with the back, obviously they eat somewhere, and then they have to have a thought of, oh, I'm thirsty. So they have to make their way in a good, nice forward walk to get to the water. So that's good for their mind, obviously, to first also be thinking about their needs. I need shelter, and then they need to go find that shelter. I need food, and they need to go find the food, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. How can you plan this? Is there something you can see how they can plan it, or you just found
Yes.
out
So
yourself?
So me personally, I found out about it on a hoof trimming clinic for horse owners, how to trim their own horse's feet, and they showed this paddock paradise as an alternative to keeping horses, because movement obviously great for feet. You can also put the on these laneways, you can put down surfaces so they don't always just walk on soft grass or mud or whatever. You can put down rocks. So
Yes.
they have to walk through those rocks to get to their surfaces, which is really good for their feet. So that's where I heard the first time about it. And the man, Jamie Jackson, that I mentioned before, who followed the wild horses and came up with this idea, he has written a book. So that's a very, very good resource to read his book and find out the in and outs about that, and then just adapt that to your property. So if you have hills or trees or whatever, so incorporate that into your laneways. Take note where your horse likes to lay down, then you can incorporate that and put maybe a nice sandpit there for them to lay down and make it nice and comfy. It's also all about choice with the track system as well. So they should be living out 24/7 as well. In Europe, even with the cold climates, they do that there as well. And they have then big walk-in barns, for example, and they can just walk in there if they feel cold, but if they don't, they also are welcome to stay out in the weather. So obviously in Europe you do need probably those big barns so they can stay warm if they want to. Here in Australia, for us in Queensland where I am, a big shelter is enough, a big roof for them to go under if it's raining a lot, and they can choose to go under there. But it's very adaptable. You can adapt it very well to your needs, to your climate, to your horse's specific needs, because it's very, very good and probably needed for a, let's say, Laminadic horse or Maltese horse. They pretty much is their only chance to live a fulfilled life in a track rather than in a stable or in a little dirt yard. So you can adapt that to your horse's needs, to your needs, to your land's needs. But the Jamie Jackson book is a great start to figure out the why and the how a little bit too. And then actually there's another lady from England. She is running an adjustment in a big scale in England, and she has written a book as well now. And that goes in very deep on the how to do it and how to adapt it into your property pretty much.
Yeah, because I can think that horses very much choose themselves also, as you said, where they want to roll and where they want to lay down. I have heard a lot of people who had made these barns for horses, and they say they're always outside. They never go in there.
Exactly. Exactly, and that's the thing, and so many of us sort of force them to do it. So they think, oh, I'm cold, so I got to bring my horse into that nice cozy stable,
Yes.
where they keep nice, dry, and warm. But actually, our horses' needs are not the same as our needs. We love the idea of a nice stable with our new jammies on. A nice stable. We don't like sorry, a nice bed, freshly made, nice jammies, fresh jammies on, whatever, being nice and dry. But if you would ask a horse, I think most of them would actually prefer to be out with their friends, be able to move, be able to eat. So that's pretty much what the track system is based on. Choice and like species appropriate living a bit more, rather than stables and small yards.
Yes, because horses are made for movement all the time.
Exactly.
I have also talked with a lot of people around this with flies. People put blanket on and for their eyes and everything. I said, yeah, I have tried to do it, but my horses is just taking them off. And then I think,
Yeah,
okay, this is their natural movement. They not with the
yeah,
head, and they are walking away from the flies, and then they move a lot instead of standing in the corner and just
yeah.
relax all the time.
Yeah, even for that, I have read that some people put in, like, I don't know, I think lavender or rosemary areas where they just
Ah,
cover them, and then the horses learn and can choose to get away from the flies and just choose to stand in that spot, for example. So it can become a great resource again to make them move along the track again.
uh-huh.
So you can make it like quite
Never
natural.
heard about that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very good idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes,
I've just started to do a little herb garden for them to self-select to eat if they want to,
yes,
but I haven't planted specifically yeah, fly or mozzie repellent plants, but it's in planning. It's a really good idea, I think, because yeah, we in Australia definitely have so many mozzies. Yeah.
yes, yes, I know, I know. But
Yeah.
is there, you said rosemary. Uh, if they eat it, is it dangerous for them, or they can eat it and it's
No, that's
okay?
actually very healthy. Yeah, yeah, they can definitely eat it.
Mm,
So another thing with the track system is that it's based on forage 24/7, which also a horse is designed to
mm,
to
mm,
have available to them, but in small amounts. So like in small feeding hay nets with really small holes, let's say, and just small nets, so they keep going and searching for more and different forage,
mm,
which they would do in the wild. So in the wild, they go, have a little bit of grass available, or like, yeah, more like dried grass like plants, and
yes,
then they go and chew on a bit of bark, and then they go chew on
mm,
a shrub or bush, or leaves from the tree, and yeah, maybe come past some salt lakes where they can have the mineral
yes,
intake and stuff like that. So that's what we sort of again replicate on the track system, with the different herbs. So yeah, if they eat it, they will know it's good for them because they have enough forage available. Like I would be,
yes,
the horse feels the need to eat something because there's nothing else to eat for them, then
mm,
yeah, that can get dangerous, and that's when they probably would eat things they're not really supposed to. But
yes,
as long as we provide them with 24/7 hay, um, then we are sure that they don't eat it because they're starving and they're like just
mm,
desperate for something in their stomach. We know that they will eat it because they choose to.
they
So,
choose to.
like I've planted mint for them and they have not touched it at all. So obviously there's no mint need for them right now, and I'm just leaving
Uh,
it there, and maybe one day they will feel the need and yeah, eat
yeah.
it.
I was a bit surprised. I moved from Sweden to Hungary with my horses, and there's a lot of different plants here that they don't know,
Yeah,
and they are raised in Sweden. But when we came here, it was natural for them. There was these plants. They didn't touch them. They ate the grass and everything that were good for them. And I have noticed that these plants that is not good for them, they are left. So we just
yeah,
cut it off and take it away. And
yeah,
that is fantastic that they have that in their body. They know the difference.
yeah, exactly, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually plant herbs for the horses in this area.
Yeah, I haven't gotten much yet, but yeah, that's lots in the planning. But yeah, the big track system yards, yeah, they have, most of them have a selection of different herbs available. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
for them to self-select. It's always good to put a little protector on top of it so the horses don't rip out the plant. So
yeah.
like let's say some sort of um wiry protection, so
Yes.
they can only eat the bits that sort of stick out of the wire.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would probably just rip out the whole plant. And that way, you can maintain your herb garden for your horses pretty well.
That's
Yeah,
smart.
yeah. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
great things out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
people
You can
doing
also
different
give
things with
them,
that.
if they are fat, you can give them straw instead of hay on some places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, the best is to literally just do different things all around the track so they can choose and they can, yeah, move for it and find it um themselves pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about nets with the hay in.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
uh, do you use that? Because I have heard that's not so good for the teeth of the horse.
Yeah, so that's true in that matter that you can't just offer always just out of the nets. So it's all
Mm,
a balance. I
mm,
do mainly out of the nets, but there's also great knotless hay nets out now. So they're really, really soft and they have no knots in them. That's much better for their horse's teeth. But yes, definitely a mixture. So it's
yeah,
important that they get loose hay available as well. So what I do is I put loose hay. I'm very lucky. I have quite a few trees. I have a big area with lots of trees and shrubs on my track. So what I do there, I just put them up in a tree, like just let's say half a biscuit of loose hay. I
yeah,
just wedge in between like a tree, like a branch, or I put it loose over a little bit of a bush or a shrub or something, so they can have that natural movement of stretching and reaching, for like the leaves, what they would do in the wild. So they just reach for the loose hay, and that gives them the access of loose hay, not always through the
yes,
net. And I also do like different boxes, like they call them snuffle boxes. So you put loose hay in a big box, or I use bathtubs even because I have some bathtubs available. I don't know what to do with. So I just fill them with loose hay, and I just throw in some little treats. I mean, can be apples and carrots, but also just their pellets, what they get in their normal,
yeah,
hard feed or whatever, just so they can search for it, eat the pellets, and then have the loose hay to eat as well, or
mm,
just loose hay piles just along the track. Um, then I have hay bins. It's literally just like the wheelie bins where you put our rubbish in, but I cut a hole in the bottom and fill the hay from the
ah,
top. So
yes,
then they also have the nice head down position, because obviously, again, we don't want them just to reach up with their
oh,
necks
that's
to eat
right,
out of the nets, but they also need to have the head down position, um, and the nice loose, yeah, as you said, so their teeth don't get worn down. Yeah, it's definitely a balance. Like, yeah, we have to make sure that we don't just only offer one source of,
mm.
yeah, hay access. Yeah, it's definitely a very good point to make there. Yeah.
You also get exercises putting out on all the places.
Exactly. Exactly right. It's not just exercise for our horses, it's great exercise for us, because we do some kilometers then a little bit,
Yeah,
because you don't, what I used to do, I used to feed like at my gate. That's usually where, you have the water, where you fill up your water,
yes,
whatever, for the horses. And then you also usually have your shed there where you have your horse feed and your horse hay. And then, so what I used to do is just feed my bucket feed at that gate, water, fill up the water at that gate, throw them a biscuit of hay at that gate.
yeah,
And I also take in and out of the same gate. So this gate would be like, the main hangout area for them, because they would look for, their bucket feed, or
yes,
they don't have to move at all. So they eat their bucket feed, then they drink, and they eat their hay all in the same station.
yeah,
Obviously, there was a little bit less work for me to walk, but now I just have to walk to the other side of the paddock pretty much to hang up the hay nets, or do my things.
yeah.
But I have gotten motorized help now with that.
Oh, that's
um
great.
and
And
yeah,
you
so you
can,
sort of
you can,
grow
yeah,
with it, yeah, expand
yes.
with it. Yeah.
So it takes a little fantasy to make this. Yeah. You were talking about the books. Maybe there are maps where you can see how it you can do it, or how is that?
Yeah, so first, like the basic one. So what I have actually done, it's not out yet quite. I need people to look over it a little bit before I trust myself to send it out into the world. But I have done a little track system info, like a booklet. It's just only like 10, 11 pages maybe.
Yes.
But I try to make it really comprehensive with examples on like pretty much basic track systems, how you would start. Like, as I said, if we just talk about a square paddock, it's sort of the easiest, but then it's easy to adapt for any shape and type of property you have. But yeah, it's maybe not much fantasy, but I think it is a lot of, to start with, it's just a lot of observation. I would say that I would call it observation rather than anything else, because yeah, you'd literally start with the outside, going along with the second fence line along the outside, inside of your outside fence, pretty much out of your perimeter fence, and then just watch your horses. How are they feeling about it? Are there maybe some fights in some areas? Make those bigger. What's your land doing? Is it getting really, really boggy on that area? Maybe track them around it, or put in your surfaces, put in your rock. Yeah, just watch them. Are they actually moving? Are they understanding the track? Maybe put an extra laneway in if they don't move enough. Like, let's say they just stand on the hay and just stare at the water over there, and they're like, how do I get there now?
Yes.
Then sometimes you have to help them maybe once or twice. Usually they get it. Usually they really easily get it. But yeah, if you keep noticing that, just put an extra laneway in it, so they sort of have a figure of 8, if that makes sense, rather than just a big loop on the outside. Sometimes that helps them move to the areas they want to. Yeah, but I would say yes, definitely just a start of an easy outside fence, and then just watch your horses, how they feel about that. Same with the sizes. Like, if you have 2 horses, 3 meters is plenty, but if you have more, then obviously maybe add another meter per horse then after those 3 meters. But same thing, watch them. They're all individual, so obviously the herds will be individual as well in how they get along with each other, how much they push each other around. But actually, while I'm at that subject, a track is also very, very anxiety lowering for horses. So if you have that horse, you say, oh no, my horse can't do that because it's always fighting the other horse about the food or whatever. That is usually a form of anxiety, and they call it resource guarding. So because if, like here in Australia, I don't know how it is in other countries, but here in Australia, it's very, very common to feed your horse a biscuit of hay in the morning and a biscuit of hay at night, like just a small amounts. So obviously that becomes for the horse a very attractive thing and a very rare and scarce thing. So they think, oh my God, this one biscuit
this is mine. This is
yeah,
mine.
exactly. It's mine, doesn't come along often, so I have to protect it with everything I have. And that's when the fights happen. In the wild, the horses don't fight as much as our domesticated horses at all.
No.
So the track, since having then forage available, hay available 24/7, it takes, what I have discovered or what I've experienced, probably 2 weeks for a horse to calm down and stop guarding those resources. And it's really, really amazing to watch how they calm down. They start sharing with others. They start being, just super calm and casual about it, because they have learned it's not going anywhere. It's not going away. And they don't have to protect it. And that, lowers those fights so much. It makes them so chilled out. And yeah, with it, the whole anxiety goes down. Same for the bucket feeds. I feed my horses twice a day, just a small feed for the minerals and stuff. And those times they don't even, most of the time I have to call them because they're not standing at the gate like banging the gate saying, where's my food, where's my food. They just like, their belly is full, they're fine. I mean, they love it. It tastes nice for them, so they do come when I call them. But it's not that they have this anxiety of, oh my god, where is it, I have to fight everyone else to get it first. Yeah, so that's a really nice, well, I don't know if it's a side effect, but yeah, side effect of the track. Yeah.
But I think it's the same around. People are so afraid that their horse get fat when they have uh, to eat 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
But my experience is that as you say, a couple of weeks, then they are used to that they don't have to swallow all of it in one chew. They can go and they can take a little here and little there. It calms them down. It's
Yes,
also good for their
100%.
body
Yeah,
and the anxiety.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's what I've seen too, and that's what I heard people say too. Oh, I can't give my horse 24/7 because it will just stand there and eat. But
Mm,
yes, just give them 2 weeks, and
yeah.
I most of them,
Of
there's always exceptions,
Of
always, but
course, yeah, of
most
course, if
of
they are
them will
in a
stop.
box and you feed them
Yeah,
there 24
yeah,
hours a day, then they would
yeah,
just eat and eat. But when they are out with their friends and they're walking around, it's a whole other thing.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also speaking of getting fat as well. Actually, the grass is what makes them much bigger because it's the sugars in the grasses. So if you do feed the right hay, it should be very low sugar and very low starch.
Mm.
um, and that's a healthier, so it's like more eating tons of broccoli rather than tons of burgers or lollies.
Yes, yes, yeah,
So,
that's right. Yeah.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
talked a lot about that because we in Scandinavia have started to feed with ensilage, and that is very strong because you take it early in the year, and a lot of horses get colic and can't. It's too much. You just have to take it in the end of the summer instead, where the grass is long and it's dry. It's much
yes,
better for the horses.
yes, yes, yeah. And that also, again, with the track, what I like about it is it allows you to rest your track middles that long for the grass to actually grow to a mature, nice, safe height, where
Mm,
you then can graze your horses on again, but in a safe way, rather than when it's really short and overgrazed, or
mm,
I don't know, maybe even mowed or whatever. So you can really rest it and have it, yeah, as a long, nice source of a healthy source of grass.
yes.
Um, yeah, well, if you have good grass as well, because obviously around Australia and I think many parts in Europe would be probably the same. The grasses are not native anymore. They're all the grasses they have been sowing for cows to get, fat and stuff, but they're really
Mm.
bad for our horses. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you put a lot of fertilizer on it, and then it's too too much for the horses.
Too rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why I said sometimes you can change it for straw. You have half hay and half straw, so
Yeah.
they are chewing all the time because that is healthy for the horse to chew and chew. And they have a
Yeah.
very little stomach compared to their size, so they have to get food all the time.
Yeah. Exactly. Little,
Little, yeah,
constantly a little bit. So,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
exactly. With grass, as you said, like they need to chew, and grass, you don't have to chew as much. With same with the hard feet, like the bucket feet, you don't have. There's not much to chew, but yeah, hay or straw, like long stemmed fiber. You have to actually chew, and that's what's
Yeah.
healthy for them. Yeah.
That's great, and I love the project because in our society today we are make it easy for ourselves. We put the horses in boxes so we have them there, and it's not
Yes.
so much work for us. But we don't think about all these things that horses can get when they are in a box for a very long time.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I think people are getting more and more aware of where how to do with the horse, and you
Yeah.
don't have this. I don't know what you call it in English, but where they buy it
Of
in
the cribbing and
yeah,
weaving and
cribbing,
wool
yeah,
packing.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
You will get rid of this. Well, if the horse have something to do all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I always say too, to people, that there's so many properties out there that I see. They have an amazing, sand arenas and amazing toilet
Mm.
blocks for the people, and amazing tack rooms, or like where they keep their feet in their saddles, and it looks just so good. And the
Yes,
fences are like white and beautiful, and the grass is mowed sometimes even, which is looks nice.
yes,
um,
yes, it does.
but as you said, it's just all for us, for our human enrichment and joy, really. But what
Yeah,
I do here is I put all, because I mean, services aren't cheap. Like, buying rock to put down for your horse in the paddock is not cheap. It's at least not here in Australia.
no,
But I'm happy to put that there, because I know I put my money where it's beneficial for my horse's health 24/7, every day, all the time, rather than, a beautiful Sandarina. Not that I would love one. I would
yeah,
definitely love one. But we get joy out of it, like
yes,
an hour a day, if that. In my case, probably would be an hour a week, really, as a mom and stuff. But I think we have to think about what's good for the horse and healthy for the horse first, and
yeah,
then us probably a bit second, because as you said, they have many health issues. I mean, what I've gotten rid of on the track is many issues with their feet. Even we have a condition called Queensland itch here in Queensland. So
mm,
it's like an allergy to mozzie bites. And I have a mare who was really, really, really bad affected by it, and she's been on the track now for nearly 3 years, and it's pretty much healed itself. I haven't done anything.
no.
So I think it's stress. It came from
Yeah, stress
stress.
and the
Yeah,
immune system wants
yeah,
to have all these uh, things around it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So now I save money and time in showering, shampooing her, creaming her, doing all the things that I used to spend hours on
yeah,
doing with her to try to get rid of this itch. Same thing with, I don't know, all these words in different countries, but like
uh,
mud fever, we call it. It's like a bacterial infection underneath the skin on their legs.
yes, yes.
Um, all that. I don't have that anymore. I don't have to spend the money and time to treat that. There's so many things that this track life has taken care of, that
Mm.
I didn't even know it would. But so you
Yeah,
spend a little bit more time in putting out hay, but you spend less time in treating all the pathologies they come up with. Yeah,
yeah. And the horses has a better life, and
yeah,
that is
yeah. So, and through it,
also
just be healthier and all
yeah.
all around. Yeah, all
That
together.
took up this where you have a fantastic arena and all that. And I always tell people that it's different. They have their horses different because they are riding, they're competing. They're riding their horse 1, 2 hours a day and they get their exercise. But normal people like us, as you said, you're going to have a baby now and you
Yeah,
don't have this time to do it, then let the horses have their natural environment.
yeah, absolutely. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice. So if somebody wants to know a little bit more about it, how can they get in touch with you?
So I have a Facebook page. It's called Active Horse Adjustment Plus. So yeah, I just took the name from German, as I mentioned before, Aktivstall. I just translated it into English
Yes,
pretty much.
yes.
So it's active, active horse adjustment. Um, yeah, I'm on Facebook and on Instagram as well under the same name. And yeah, that's pretty much the two main things to get more information. I put lots of posts up about benefits and tracks in general. And yeah, as I said, I have been working on a little booklet that hopefully will be out to purchase soon. And yeah, but I'm sharing so many resources there how you can find. I also run a little group on Facebook. Is the Aussie, what did I call it? Aussie Track System and Paddock Paradise.
Yeah.
That's specific for Australia, but there's also a just horse track systems page for all over the world with lots of great people who run tracks just at home or as adjustments, or who are happy to just put so much information on there so you can work out your own track.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has really been a pleasure to talk with you. I love your view of having horses and that environment. And
Thank you.
so thank you so much for sharing today.
Thanks.
And thank you for listening, you out there. And please subscribe to this channel so we can get on with our things here every week. So thanks a lot and have a good time in Australia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye
Bye.
bye.